Hello, hello. It's another traveling day today. All hooked up, hitched up, packed up, and hitting the road and heading to Melbourne, which I'm actually a little bit anxious about because I hate city traffic, and I've chosen Sunday as my travel day because I figure there's no peak hour working traffic to deal with. It's a sort of a quieter day, but I'm super excited because I'm going to go see my boy who's just moved into a new house there, and also my daughter who's flown in from Canada, which is really exciting. I've missed her a lot. So yeah, a bit of a happy reunion for me with the kids, which I'm really looking forward to. And the caravan park that I'm going to in Coburg is ridiculously expensive, like $64 a night. So it's going to cost me $450 to spend a week there, which is crazy. No more procrastinating. I always do this. I get all anxious in the tummy about it, but then when I start driving, I really enjoy it. So it has been a while. I've been sitting still for at least a couple of weeks, I guess. Rolling on. So wish me luck. There it is. The Emerald City. That's Melbourne. I'm just in the process of actually having a complete meltdown, and I'm really struggling. I'm at the caravan park in Melbourne. It's the Big Four at Coburg because that's where my son lives, is in Coburg, and I didn't want to impose upon them by staying there, and just prefer to have my familiar surroundings with me when I travel. And I've got all my clothes and everything I need. I don't have to worry about forgetting things to pack and things like that. So I figured I'd book in here. Now, because my truck is extra long, my caravan's not particularly long. It's 15 feet plus the drawbar. The truck is probably equal length. Last time I really struggled to fit in here. The sides are really squished in. Like, they're made for basically those rental camper things and not much else. So I paid extra to get an extra large side. It goes up from $50 a night, which is outrageous compared to what I usually pay, to $64 a night with no discount for paying for a whole week. No discount at all, unless you're a Big Four member, which I rarely stay at Big Fours because that's just not how I travel. So I'll show you in a minute what this extra big site has got me. And I woke up this morning. I'll show you what's outside the window. There's literally a cabin right outside here. The caravan beside me had to ask me to move my truck because they needed to get out at 7 o'clock in the morning. The kids in the cabin next door were riding their scooters up and down this footpath. I'll flip it around and show you. So this is outside my window. See that cabin there? So that's where the kids were riding their scooters up and down on that footpath first thing this morning, screaming and yelling at each other. There was a caravan in this site here that was leaving early, 7 o'clock this morning. So they, because I'm literally up against them, they had to ask me to move my truck from out the front because they wouldn't have been able to get in and out of their site. So I had to move my truck, and look at where I've had to put my truck. Like, this is outside my other window. There's another caravan beside me. There's my truck squished in here. And imagine, like, my bedroom window was literally right where those kids were screaming and yelling at this morning. And when I open my door, check this out. Okay, look. I am practically touching. Ooh, how close? It doesn't get much closer than that. See? Gap between my door and the truck. Practically zero. Yeah, this is what they call extra large site. Butt up against it. Truck on the next door neighbour's site. Cabin's right here. This site here, which literally their driveway where they would park literally goes straight into where I'm supposed to park. How's that work? And then I'm supposed to park between these white lines, apparently, across the front. But if I did that, there wasn't enough room for them to get their big caravan out. So now I'm actually over and I'm on the next door neighbour's side. Yep, $64 a night. Ropeable. Absolutely ropeable. Not happy, Jen. Not happy at all. Yeah, so you can see why I'm having a meltdown about that, because now, because I was so tired when I came in yesterday, just stressing about coming in, now I've got to hitch it up and find another spot. Yeah, I absolutely couldn't deal with it last night, having to think about where I'm going to move to and looking for a better site to get into and somewhere where I would fit. I was too tired. I just wanted to go to bed. So now it's the next morning. I've had bugger all sleep. I've been up since 2:30 in the morning. Finally got back to sleep probably about 5. Was woken up at 7 by these screaming kids in this cabin behind me. And now I've got to hitch up again and drive around and try and find somewhere that my tired, frazzled, distraught brain can come and stay in, and just remind myself, you know, people think I'm overreacting about stressing out about coming to Melbourne. If it wasn't for the fact that my daughter's flying in here on Wednesday and my son's just moved into a new house and I really want to see my kids, so this is what I do. Out on those country back roads, I'm fine then. I don't feel mental. When I come in here and I deal with this kind of stuff, I can't cope. I'm really struggling today. Really. Anyway, got to hitch up, got to roll. What can you do? Got no choice, got to roll. Seriously, can't deal. Like, it just seems unfair. Look, I get it. It's the only caravan park in Melbourne. It's expensive. Normally when I come in here, I'll only stay a night or two, and I'm usually up the top by the pool. But last time I really struggled getting in and out of there. And I just thought, you know, if I could get something bigger, it would be easier. This hasn't been any easier. It's been more stressful, more expensive. I asked them if I could move to a regular site and if they could just refund me the difference, seeing as this doesn't feel like an extra large site to me at all. And they said, no, they won't refund me the difference even if I move to a smaller site. It's non-refundable. So, you know, the guy up at the counter has not been particularly helpful. There's a girl up there at the moment who's being a little bit more understanding, and I've explained to her my issues, and you know, I'm really struggling and I need help, you know. I don't like having to pull the whole disabled card out and say, like, you know, I mean, they've already made allowances for me to have an assistance dog because it's a dog-free park as well. So Pixie's, we've been here before, as long as she wears her jacket, and I always walk out onto the main street so she can do her business. I don't let her do her business anywhere in the park. I'm very respectful of that. But yeah, I don't like asking for more than I need, but more than what they're prepared to offer, I should say. I do want to ask for what I need. I need more space, I need peace and quiet, and for the amount of money I'm paying, I expect better. So, not happy, Big Four, not happy at all. I'm just going to drive around, see how I find another spot. Last thing I want to do right now, bugger all sleep, absolutely knackered. Yeah, really, I just keep bursting into tears, so yeah, I'll try and pull it together. I've been driving around, I've tried a couple of spots I couldn't get in and out of, and I finally found one, and it's up where I was parking last time I came here, but I managed to get in and back it all the way up, and there's actually enough room here, sort of a semi-wide spot, so I'll be able to actually park my truck beside the van. And yeah, there's the street that I came in on and the office up there. So I've just called through to the office. Oh, excuse the slamming door. I've just called through the office. I said I've moved from site 117. I'm now in site 72. Normally the people don't come until after 2 o'clock, so I kind of had to get this all sorted before 2 o'clock. And she was busy checking someone else in, and she's like, okay, well, hopefully there's no one already booked on that site. I'm just sitting here praying to all the camping caravanning gods, please. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to be trying to navigate into a tight spot. This is why I camp in the country. A, because it's cheap. B, because you don't have these kind of dramas with hard to navigate into spots with a car and caravan combination, with an extra long bed truck, with an extra long drawbar, which usually makes it easier, but in the combination with the extra long truck, it's actually really challenging. And obviously, you know, the old power steering isn't quite the same as it is on a modern car. So, you know, it's just a little bit harder. Like, it's, you know, this is my choice. I like driving old cars and living in an old caravan, but people need to understand this is not an easy to navigate object for the most healthy person, let alone somebody who has, you know, rheumatoid arthritis and interstitial cystitis and sleep problems and mental health problems and all sorts of problems. Yeah. Human problems. So, anywho, she hasn't called me back yet, but I'm just going to sit here and listen to the lovely sound of the waterfall in the swimming pool next to me. It's like ASMR sounds. Just trickling water. It's quite relaxing. Pixie has been a legend. She's keeping me semi-regulated amongst bursts of panic and tears. I'm actually feeling okay just sitting here calmly because I'm just trying not to think about worst possible case scenarios. I'm just going to pray that she says yes, you're fine where you are, and I'm not unhitching until I get the green light from the office. So naught to be done but breathe and relax and wait for the phone to ring. So I'll keep you posted. But I really hope this, being up here, it's like this, there was something about that site down there, I couldn't handle it for so many reasons, and up here I feel, actually this is familiar because this is where I usually park up here, so I've been here, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now, and I'm usually up here, but last time I realised I had trouble hitching up again because my rig sits fairly low, and I had to borrow a jack to jack up the drawbar to get it level again to get onto the car. But then I realized I've actually changed my jockey wheel since then, because I used to have one of those jockey wheels that is bolted on to the drawbar and flips up and flips down, and if you don't have enough clearance it doesn't work, especially if you're on a place where the dip in and out of the driveway is quite harsh like it is here. And yeah, that's why I didn't book the same spot I got last time, which I should have done in hindsight, but completely forgot. I was like, oh, I remember I had problems with the jockey wheel on that site, so I didn't book it back. So it was like 69, which is, I don't know, actually it was right next door here. It was the site right next to me, or this one of these. And that is actually why I got the jockey wheel changed over. When I was at Horsham, I took it to a trailer repair place, and I just said, look, just give me one of those old-fashioned type of jockey wheels, which, you know, you've got the bracket and the handle, and you can actually remove the whole jockey wheel when you don't use it, which is and it's got actual adjustable notches to put it on, so if you're in that really kind of, if your nose is really dipped down because you're at an angle, it's a lot easier to put the jockey wheel on and off. So yeah, again, brain fart moment. I should have remembered that yeah, the reason why it was so hard last time was because I had that stupid big ass jockey wheel that never worked for my low sitting caravan. So now I know, next time, don't pay for an extra large site, just go into a normal site and deal with it, because it's probably a lot less stressful, and I would have saved myself, I don't know, 150 bucks or something, 100 and something dollars, enough to buy some actual food this week instead of spending all my money on camping. And yeah, if you want it so that it's refundable, you actually have to pay a higher price. So they've got 2 prices they quote you. One price is, this price is non-refundable, and this price is higher, but if you cancel you get a refund. Of course I'm going to pick the lower price because I'm a pobo and I'm on a budget. So yeah, when I said, can I now move to a smaller site from a large site, I haven't technically cancelled, I'm just changing from one site to another. That's not even refundable, because the site they gave me wasn't really extra large, but they insisted it was. Anywho, whatever. If I complain too much, I feel like they'll never have me back. And I feel like I complain a lot about various caravan parks and their rules and regulations, but it's just one of the parts about being a full-time nomad on the road that is actually stressful. Like, you need to realize when people post things on social media about the beautiful views and the beautiful scenery and the beautiful road and all the benefits of being on the road, yeah, it's great. Dealing with caravan parks, oh, bloody hard. And yeah, it's the least my least favorite part of it. Like I've been in a lot of effort thinking about where to go next and how long to stay and whether I'm in a good spot and whether I'm going to feel comfortable there, whether the people are going to be friendly and nice and helpful and understand that I have issues. Like it's awful having to say to people, I'm sorry, but I have issues. Like I'd rather not. If it's a simple process and I don't have to tell you about my issues and have to get you to make allowances for me, then that's my preference, you know. But if I have to actually ask and explain, it's embarrassing. I don't want to do that. I just want to be normal. I want to feel normal and, you know, go about my normal life, as much as living in an old caravan can be a normal life. I've been sitting here for maybe, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Haven't heard back from them. I thought maybe they forgot about me. So I just called them up. I said, hey, did you forget about me? I'm sitting here in my car. I just want to unhitch so I can crawl back into bed, basically. You know, waiting for instructions from you guys. Can I stay here or not? And he's like, oh, we've actually got someone booked into that site. I said, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to drive around and back up and do this all over again. Can't you move them? Like, they're not even here yet, for fuck's sake, you know? So, anyway, he's like, I'll leave it with me for another couple of minutes. I'll see if we can move them. Like, yeah, that'd be great, thanks. Like, so now I just gotta sit here and wait again? I really hope they say yes, you can stay there. I just want to get out of my car and I just want to get in my van and relax. So just, you know, hitching and unhitching and hitching and unhitching. It's hard work, it's exhausting, it's tiring, and I'm really not dealing with this today. I just can't deal with it all. I'm gonna flip in a minute. I'm gonna go from feeling frustrated and sad and emotional and exhausted to fucking angry. Like, it can happen pretty quickly, you know. And I don't want to be angry and I don't want to get grumpy and I don't want to get snappy. And you don't want to sit here listening to me whinge on crap, I'm sure. But anyway, I've been trying to really make my videos more positive, and especially after the victim comment that someone made, I'm trying to be more positive about it and show the good side of my life, because there are good sides. I'm not negative all the time. 90% of the time, I feel normal. I feel like I'm getting better. I feel I'm happy and life is good. But then there's moments like this where everything just feels really, really, really hard. Really hard. It's too hard. Finally, after I think it was half an hour sitting there in the truck, just about falling asleep on my steering wheel, they came down and told me that I can stay in this spot. Yay! So, you know, all credit to them for making whatever adjustments they needed to make to allow me to stay, and recognizing the fact that I was pretty much hitting my capacity for coping with just about anything. So I didn't film the whole process of what is involved and why it's so exhausting, but once you've unhitched, put the jockey wheel on, unhitched from the car, undid the chain, the electrics, put the handbrake on, then you have to move the car out of the way. Then I have to get out the level, spirit level, and work out what needs raising and leveling out. I had to level out the wheel on this side slightly, so I did that before I unhitched, put the multi-level levelers under the wheel and just rolled it up on a little bit until it was level on the spirit level. Then once I've unhitched that, I have to work out. So first of all, I've got the spirit level from side to side, so I work out that I'm fairly level from left to right, and then I turn it around front to back and work out about where I need to be, lower the jockey wheel down, get out the hand crank to go out the back and crank down the back stabilizing legs, and then come back up the front and wind the jockey wheel back up again and make sure that it's sitting fairly level, it doesn't wobble around. And then I have to plug in the electrical cord from the caravan to the pole at the back, plug in my grey water hose, the drain hose that goes from the drain of the sink and runs into the drain behind the campsite. And normally I would, but I did this yesterday when I pulled in, I usually try to travel on an empty tank because the tank adds a lot of weight of water underneath the caravan. So yesterday when I first pulled in and did all this already, I pulled out the hose and also filled up my water tank as well, but thankfully that was done this time today. I did it yesterday, so I didn't have to do that today. But yeah, as you can see, there's quite a few steps and rigmarole, and now, you know, can open the doors and windows and just let a little bit of air into the caravan. But there is the sounds. There's sounds like a tree chopper grinder, you know, one of those things where they chop up a tree and then they put it in a grinder. I don't know if you can pick up on with the microphone, and this will pick that up, but it's quite loud. It's been going pretty much all morning. There's a couple of kids up there that were playing up at the pool before, but that doesn't really bother me so much. For some reason, you know, they weren't obnoxious. They're just playing like kids do. Like the waterfall thing feature kind of almost white noises that out a little bit for me. But there's also a factory near here that I think, I don't know, it smells like maybe they make Weet-Bix or something. I get this smell of, like, it's almost like burning toast in the morning. You notice it really first thing in the morning more than anything, but it's kind of been, it's a very strong smell. So, and we're under the flight path for the airport. So as far as sensory overload goes, there's a lot going on for me here. You've got to be able to hear that. That's a plane flying over right now. I'm just not used to it. Like, I've been living in relative bliss, and it's so easy to feel. It's like, I remember reading sometime about spirituality, you know, how it's very easy to feel like you've attained a spiritual enlightenment when you're sitting in solitude on the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere. You know, like, you feel connected to God, and you feel, you know, it's easy to be a spiritual person in the absence of any of the normal day-to-day stressors. But likewise, you know, when you have mental health issues, it's easy to feel relatively well adjusted and sane and normal in the absence of things that most people just take for granted and cope with. And for me, all of this going on, and I know because when I look at the times when I've been at my worst, like mental health wise, it's usually been living in the cities. Sorry, that sun is shining right on me there. Yeah, living in cities is really bad. Maybe if I put the phone over here, it won't be as bad. Just relocate myself a little bit. That's a bit better. Yeah, I always really struggled living in the city and dealing with things like traffic and noise and lots of people, and it's almost an energy thing. Like, you get this feeling of overwhelm from just, you know, I can almost even sense the electricity. Like, there's big electrical wires right above us here. As soon as I come into the city, I just feel this onslaught of, I can only describe it as energy. I really, yeah, it's the hum of activity that never ceases, even when you're in the relatively quiet suburbs. There's a million different Wi-Fi connections, and I don't know. I've always been really sensitive to that kind of stuff, humming, whirring, machinery, sounds. And even though I always sleep with my fan on, because I find the white noise of the fan tends to block out the shifts and changes that occur, like when the world starts waking up in the morning and traffic noise will increase and birds will start chirping and the sunlight will start piercing through your relatively block out curtains, things like that. I find that if I just have the fan just going constantly, it kind of dulls the sudden change that tends to occur for me. So yeah, I think at the moment I'm so exhausted. Whenever I have those really emotional kind of reactive type states, it absolutely drains the life out of me. And I was tired anyway. I got crap all sleep last night, and you know, as you know, disrupted morning. So I think I'm going to close the curtains and the door and the window again, turn the fan on, actually have a little bit of a nap. It's now close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so my day's shot. That was basically my I've been dealing with this since 7 or 8 o'clock this morning. I need sleep. Gosh, what I wouldn't give for a full actual night of 7 or 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep. I'm pretty confident that I would feel so happy, like I would feel it would help my mental state so much. And there's no point taking like sleeping pills or anything. They've tried that. I tried Benadryl because Benadryl is meant to have antihistamine that settles the mast cells in the bladder, which cause the pain reaction that you get when your bladder's got anything in it. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, yeah, it gets me to sleep, and I sleep, feels like a beautiful sleep, but that pain will still wake me up. It's so intense and so excruciating, and so, you know, that feeling when you're really busting and you're in pain. That is me every time so much as 100 mils of fluid is in my bladder, like literally every hour, day in, day out, all night long. Like, it's just, yeah, you feel like you haven't peed for 24 hours. Like, that's the level of excruciating pain. I cannot describe to you how intense that is, that even under sedation of antihistamines and Benadryl, I will wake up. I'll wake up because it hurts. And I don't like talking about everything that I'm struggling with, and I don't know if anyone else is really interested in it either, except for other people. The only people that really seem to care or feel empathy or get it or write comments, it's like, I understand what you're going through because I feel the same way too, is other people going through the same stuff as you. And for me, there's a lot of things there. There's a lot of variable things. Like, some people are just dealing with autoimmune diseases and just dealing with PTSD, or just dealing with, I mean, not to say that it, you know, it's a simple thing to deal with, but having multiple things on your plate, mental and physical issues as well, it's a fine balance to keep everything to keep it together, basically. Yeah, I struggle to keep it together, and yeah, there's a lot of grief involved in that, and just frustration with myself. I don't care if anyone else is pissed off or frustrated at me, because nothing compares to how frustrating it is to be the person dealing with these kind of limitations, and yeah, having to make allowances and adjustments for myself every day just to survive. It's exhausting. Anyhow, everything's exhausting. And as I always used to tell my kids, everything always seems worse than it is when you're tired. And I'm tired. So I'm going to get some rest, finish this, what was meant to be a quick video has turned out to be an epic saga. And I will hopefully have something way more positive to post after this. So good night from me, and look after yourselves and look after each other. And if you know somebody that's going through any of these issues that I've mentioned, or any other chronic illness or challenge or mental health issue, just be loving and kind, you know, just listen if you need to. Learn about what they're going through, read some articles, like read some stuff online, watch other people's YouTube videos, get to know what your loved ones are going through. And even though you can't ever really understand it because it's not happening to you, try and understand that if somebody reaches out and says, I'm really struggling at the moment and I need help, please be there to offer them that help. Don't cut them off and reject them and make them feel worse than they're already feeling. Like, you know, what we really need is some kindness and some caring and some compassion, and it goes a long way, because as a result of that, your mind gets lifted and you feel better for it, and then once your mind gets lifted and you feel a bit better emotionally, your physical, a lot of these physical things actually improve once there's not this huge amount of emotional turmoil and stress placed on you as well. So yeah, be kind to each other, be nice, look after the people in your life that are struggling a little bit, you know, just with empathy, compassion, kindness, and a listening ear and a hug, a shoulder to cry on. Just tell them you're there. It's all it takes. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to fix anything. Just tell them that no matter what, you're there and you care. Alright, see you later. Brittany just goes to the shops for a little quick run to get some snacks, and this is what she comes out with? Holy crap, Britt. You don't do anything by halves.
No.
Oh, so good, so good. Love you, kids. Love you. And you, even though you're not really my child.